Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Zaryn, and I am a digital marketing strategist here based in New York City. And what I want to do in this video is talk about digital marketing trends for 2021 with a focus on paid social. Now, this is actually part of a webinar that I did recently for SEMrush, and I decided just to reshoot this for you guys on this channel. With that said, let's jump into it. So today I want to start acknowledging our attention economy. We live in an attention economy, and in today's world, the gatekeeper of that attention economy is the mobile device. Regardless if you're Team Apple or Google, odds are you're using your mobile device for one of the following reasons: to connect with family, friends, for business purposes, or for on-demand entertainment. And right now in the US market, specifically where I'm based, we're seeing that the average time spent on a mobile device is about 3 hours and 10 minutes a day. Now, this is an important stat to know, whether you're a business or an advertiser or digital marketer, because first of all, you need to know where your audience is spending their time to help focus your marketing dollars and efforts in the right channels and the specific platforms that are going to help you reach your business goals. So what I want to do is share with you some tactical paid advertising approaches that have been consistently driving performance in the past year, in the past couple of months. And I also want to introduce to you guys some new opportunities that are emerging, and with the current changes of consumer behavior on social platforms are going to be very ripe for this new year. But first, before we dive into that, I want to show you guys how COVID, this pandemic, has actually impacted the growth of social media at large, and which channels specifically are seeing the biggest benefits. So prior to COVID, the latest eMarketer forecast projected that the average US adult would spend about 76 minutes of their day on social media in 2020. And that would be a flat growth if you look at it from a year-over-year perspective. Now, that has since changed, and that number has grown by 8% to 82 minutes a day in 2020. And if you think about it, that's about 1 hour and 20 minutes of the day that's being spent on social media. And another way to think about this, it's 44% of the time that the average US adult spends on their mobile device is going to social media. That's a huge amount of time. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, where exactly is that growth coming from? And is there a particular social platform that your business needs to be more visible on? And that's what we're going to talk about actually on this next slide, exactly showing you guys which platforms are benefiting the most from this change that's been accelerated because of COVID. So pre and post COVID, Facebook and Instagram continue to dominate the social landscape in terms of sheer volume of users and the time that's being spent on these platforms, with Facebook registering the lion's share of users at 1.9 billion for Facebook users alone. That's including Instagram. And 2.7 billion if you include its family of apps, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp, for now, because they are getting sued by the FTC and potentially will be broken up, but that's neither here nor there. So on average, a user on Facebook is spending about 22 minutes per day on the platform, while Instagram sees about 30 minutes a day average time spent on the platform. Now, one notable winner, of course, because of COVID and everything that's happening in 2020, has been TikTok, who added over 200 million monthly active users in 2020 and is trending to reach Instagram's 1 billion user base. They're also driving the most amount of time spent on platform at a whopping 85 minutes a day. That's a lot of time. The platform also has been standing out because of its highly addictive feed, right? That's being powered by a content graph versus a social graph. And I made a previous video that talked a little bit about this. Essentially, it figures out what the user is most interested in and immerses them with a marathon of highly engaging content without the need for them to even create an account to begin with. So the TikTok platform has definitely made some huge strides. Also, in terms of their ad capabilities, they've been ramping up very quickly in terms of what they can do from a targeting perspective and what kind of formats they have on the platform. And you should definitely watch for them in 2021. But as of yet, there is no platform that has the sheer scale, volume of users, the penetration of daily attention, and the sophistication of the advertising capabilities as Facebook and Instagram. And on the next slide, I want to actually show you how Facebook has reacted to the rise in consumer attention on social media in 2020, and then jump into some tactics for 2021. So in 2020, with the acceleration of digital, the global retail market saw a 10% increase in e-com sales in a matter of weeks. Now, to put that into perspective for you, before COVID happened, e-com sales represented about 16% of the total global retail sales a year. Now, that figure has since jumped to about 27% globally and 32.4% in the US market. That's crazy. That's 10 years of growth happening in a matter of weeks. And the interesting part is actually this behavior seems like it's here to stay. And we recently saw with Cyber Monday, the online shopping holiday, a 15% uptick in sales year over year and registered a record amount of sales at 10.8 billion in the US for the biggest e-commerce day ever recorded, according to data provided by Adobe Analytics. Now, Facebook, with its massive talent, their technology, and the amount of cash resources they have, they are best positioned to really maximize the amount of attention people are now spending on social media, and they've been creating, some new features on the platform to take advantage of this time. So for 2021, I think you can expect a deeper focus on shoppable commerce. That's the shortening of the friction from a consumer seeing a piece of content on their feed that inspires them to shop to their actual ability to add that product to their cart and purchase. Now, Facebook recently introduced Facebook and Instagram Shops to create this evolved online shopping experience to bring the platform closer to Amazon's frictionless experience. So now you can actually see a product, you could tap on it, it'll give you some information to the product, and depending on the brand, you might be able to check out directly from Instagram, or you can go to their Facebook shop or the Instagram shop and get quicker to buying that product. Also, another notable call out is Reels, which is the competitor to TikTok that can be found as a product update on the Instagram platform. And in fact, if you look at the mobile app, now you can actually see on the bottom menu Shops and Reels as shortcuts. So it just goes to show how important this is becoming. So with over 2.7 billion users now that are more engaged than ever on Facebook and Instagram and across the family of apps, let's talk about the specific e-com tactics, conversion tactics that should be a staple in your playbook for 2021. So in 2021, your first party data, meaning the data that you own on your customers, is going to be more important than ever, regardless if you're new to social advertising or if you've been running campaigns in the past. Now, for advertisers, you are going to see the strongest performance for your e-com efforts using lookalikes of your existing customer list. So this is not a new thing, but I just wanted to call out that this is still what is driving the strongest performance. If you aren't familiar with this tactic, it basically allows Facebook to take your existing customer list and find audiences that are similar to that. And Facebook has now expanded that capability with the ability of you making a lookalike audience targeting a LTV audience, meaning that when you upload your email list of your customers, you can now add a dimension and say, what the value is of that user. Is it a $250 lifetime value or is it a $1,000 lifetime value? Now the algorithm can prioritize your ad delivery against those audiences that produce the highest LTV for your business. Now, if that wasn't enough, they've taken it a step further, but by now allowing you to literally check a box within the platform at the ad set level that now allows Facebook to automatically target users outside of your lookalike audience that it believes is going to convert at a similar or a lower cost. So something to really keep in mind for 2021 is trying to find additional ways to tap into these CRM lists and lookalike audiences. Now, the power that this gives a business and advertisers, it's that Facebook and Instagram is a place where you can scale performance and you can move quickly and you can cut down on the exhaustive need to test and learn, which you should still do. But this at least gives you a way to get onto the platform and see your ROI way faster for your efforts. Now, a quick pro tip for you new advertisers who do not have a seed list, a CRM list, an email list of your customers, consider making a custom audience within Facebook of the top 25% of users who have spent the most amount of time on your website. After you create this custom audience, you can then scale it with a lookalike feature And that is probably going to perform way better than if you just went into the platform and started doing combination of interest and behavior targeting capabilities, because at the end of the day, that's just really an educated guessing game. So if you're new to the platform and you don't have your own CRM list yet, but you've had people that have gone to your website and they have purchased before, you can shorten your path to targeting by creating a custom audience of the top 25% users on your website, and then scaling that with the lookalike functionality to, broaden that out. Now, the next key part of maximizing your first party data as you move into 2021 is understanding the impact that the removal of cookies will have on the performance of your campaigns. So right now, as I make this video, the Facebook pixel depends on cookie tracking technology that's been fading away. And now with Google Chrome's announcement that their browser is going to remove all cookies by 2022, you got to start thinking about alternative options here, as advertisers often see anywhere between 60 to 80% of their sales for e-com come from their retargeting campaigns. Now, without cookies, there's going to be no more retargeting tactics, as there's not going to be any more tracking. So Facebook has actually been developing a solution for this via their conversion API that can help advertisers keep all of their tracking once cookies are gone in 2022, and you can continue benefiting from the performance of these retargeting campaigns and tactics. Now, my prediction is they're going to find more ways to make this tech solution applicable to the over 3 million small businesses that use Facebook to advertise. And in fact, the other day I was twiddling around in the background and I saw that there was some kind of WordPress extension that seems to be back there. So just a hot topic to keep monitoring in 2021. They might come up with some other solution, but this is going to be very important if you're going to be using Facebook advertising for e-com sales. Now, I know that's a lot of info, so we're just going to take a second. I'm going to take a deep breath so I can actually catch my breath. And now we're going to go into the second of 3 tactics that I want to share with you. Another key theme to keep eyes on is the push to make campaigns more dynamic and automated on Facebook and Instagram. Now, a few years back, it was actually believed that you should make one campaign to run your ads on Facebook and a separate one for Instagram. However, now we know that the strongest performing campaigns, my words are just getting all mixed up here. The strongest performing campaigns are the ones that are consolidated and are using placement optimization, meaning you let Facebook determine where to show your ads to your audience. So for example, instead of having 5 ad sets, one targeting the newsfeed on Facebook, one targeting the newsfeed on Instagram, a separate one for stories, you would have one ad set and then you would check all of the placements, and then you'd let Facebook distribute your ad dollars as it makes sense. Now, this actually helps the platform perform better and reduce wastage from audience overlap, because if you have 2 campaigns and you're showing ads on Instagram newsfeed and on Facebook newsfeed, Facebook could be showing the user 5 ads here and 5 ads here, but in reality it might have only needed to show 3 ads on the Facebook newsfeed and 2 ads on Instagram to convert the user. So these 2 campaigns aren't talking to each other. Now, one specific use case that you could say, all right, I do need to separate my placements, is that if you had specific Instagram story creative, if you had different creative for the newsfeed, that totally makes sense. If not, you want to lean into placement optimization as much as possible. Now, to complement the dynamic optimization capability that we just talked about, Facebook also recently, or maybe not so recently, but it feels recent, introduced CBO, which is campaign budget optimization. Now, this feature allows for fluidity of dollars between audiences in one campaign, so that, let's say, the audience that's performing the best can automatically get the most amount of money. So you might have a prospecting campaign that has 3 audiences. You don't want to go in there manually and move money around. You want to let Facebook move the money depending on what is actually driving the best performance. So now there's a theme of these dynamic capabilities that Facebook is just leaning more and more into. And now they've actually expanded this further using what's called dynamic ads, or in the platform, the objective might be called catalog sales when you go build a campaign. And this is more specifically for larger retail advertisers that have a lot of products. It's not going to be as specific for someone who has maybe 2 or 3 products. If you have 25, 50, 100 products plus, this is actually when it makes sense. But it's good information to know regardless. And the benefit and the power of dynamic product ads, DPA specifically, is that basically you're retargeting users that have been to your website with the actual products that they looked at and engaged with, and also showing them some additional items that they could be interested in. So the relevance goes up, therefore conversion performance goes up. And this tactic has actually been such a top performer, major driver of e-com growth, even in holiday 2019, but also in holiday 2020. We've seen it work phenomenal, and I expect it to be even more powerful in 2021, because as more retailers are adopting this, the overall Facebook platform has more signals going into it, and it could better leverage for performance. Also, to capture new audiences, they have DABA, or what's called dynamic ads for broad audiences, which is phenomenal. And it's basically for anybody that hasn't been to your website, isn't familiar with your brand, but they are in market looking for similar items that you sell. And the way that the algorithm could figure this out is because when you put your pixel, you also have the ability to create parameters. So you can say what the product type is, what the product category is, what the price of that product. So now Facebook has that data for your website and millions of websites out there. So they could tell who's going on these websites and specifically show them your products. Now, both of these dynamic ads tactics are now tried and true. And one of the biggest drivers of e-com sales that I've seen in recent key holiday moments, especially tentpole moments like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So all of these tactics would be essential for a high-performing Facebook campaign for 2021. So with that said, let's shift to the last theme I want to share with you guys. The last trend I want to share with you today is more specific to an omnichannel retailer who has physical stores in addition to e-com activity. Now, with the change of how consumers shop, there has been a major increase of retailers who offer the option to buy online and pick up in store. And Facebook has dubbed this as an acronym, BOPIS, buy online, pick up in store. And now they actually allow you the capability to track this. So within a conversion campaign, you have the ability to optimize towards an in-store purchase or for home delivery just by adding a new parameter to your pixel that's called delivery_category. And BOPIS overall has been a very hot trend for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and already over 50% of Fortune 500 retailers in the US have reported having some level of effort around this. Now, if you're already running campaigns on Facebook, you can take advantage of this tactic. And I would definitely recommend for you guys to lean into that in 2021. Make sure to look at the developer documentation online for this. Now, the next noteworthy tactic moving into 2021 for an omni-channel B2C retailer, so you're selling products in physical stores and online, would be leaning into store visit campaigns and pairing that with the Facebook offline measurement solution, where you can actually import your point of sales or your offline sales data back into Facebook and then actually see the impacts that your ad had on driving those offline sales. Now, in 2020, before COVID, I actually saw as much as 64% of our sales for a national US retailer that actually came from offline purchases. And it validated that Facebook had such a powerful effort. Even though we were running e-com campaigns, they were actually causing people to come into the store and buy. So as we move into 2021 and the world starts to open back up, it's going to be very important for you to keep these tactics top of mind, as in-person shoppers tend to actually spend more money a lot of times in some retail verticals. And many businesses are going to want to continue driving e-com sales, but they're also going to have some store traffic sales objective as well. Now, back to our rising and star tactic, DPA, that I mentioned earlier. This has been really, an all-star tactic for driving e-com online sales. I mean, something I definitely recommend you guys to tap into for 2021, but we've also seen a halo effect that this tactic is also one of the most effective at driving offline sales. So not just getting people to buy online, but also to buy offline. So if you're an omni-channel retailer or you're buying media for one, then this is a tactic that you want to invest in heavier in 2021 and ensure you're also uploading those offline sales into Facebook so you can see the full impact of your dollars that are being invested. So A winning paid social strategy on Facebook's family of apps in 2021 is one that really takes into account, your first party data, your lookalike audiences. It's one that's enabling campaigns to be fluid and benefit from Facebook's algorithm. Stop trying to work against it. Don't break the machine. Enable the machine to work and to perform for you. And also to think about levers that you have to not just get customers shopping online, but also returning to stores in this new year. My name is Zaryn Sidhu, and it has been my pleasure to share these insights with you. And as always, you can find more videos and content on Facebook, social advertising, and digital marketing in general right here on Market and Hustle. See you in the next video. Peace.